I was supposed to be I was supposed to be have 5 kids, right? I was homeless when I was 19. But my guidance counselor when I was 18 years old made it clear that I was supposed to have 5 kids. I don't know, 6 or 7 baby daddies. I was supposed to be a drug addict, actually. So I was supposed to be hooked on drugs. I was supposed to be in and out of jail. Um, I was definitely supposed to live on government assistance for sure. For sure, I was supposed to live on government assistance. 3 of my kids would die. One would be, or 2 of my kids would die. 2 of them would be in jail, and one would follow in my footsteps of having too many children, out of wedlock, several baby daddies, on and off, on in and out of the system, and that it was just going to be perpetuated. I remember sitting in my guidance counselor's office and him explaining to me what a waste on in the world I was going to be. Like he made it crystal clear. And he also made it clear that, he didn't think I was a complete idiot. And that, I was really good at taking tests. And so should go and take like a test to be a corrections officer or something like that because I'm tall, I'm 5'9", and he's like, you're tall, at some point you'll fill out because I was also 5'9", and I weighed like 95 pounds. And he knew people that worked in corrections, and so I should go and take a test and be a correction officer because I was really good at test taking. But if I didn't do that or go to the military, that at the end of the day I wasn't going to amount to shit. And growing up in a minority community, relatively poor, he thought that what he was saying was, I guess, he didn't say it to be mean or nasty. And I know it's hard to believe that he wasn't trying to be mean or nasty. He was actually trying to explain to me, like, your life isn't going to go anywhere at all. And so here are your options. If you don't take these options, you're going to go nowhere. And I'm glad he told me those things. I'm glad he told me I wasn't going to be shit. I'm glad he told me that I was going to be at the bottom of the barrel. I'm glad he told me that I was going to have kids that were going to follow in my shitty ass footsteps. Right? I'm glad he told me all of that because that became the fire for me to change my complete life. And what was funny was it was right after that I ended up homeless. And so here I am, I'm homeless. And the only thing that kept ringing in my head while I was homeless was that he was 100% right. And what was even harder about that a lot of people don't know is that, well, wait, I just realized you have no idea who I am. What's up? My name is Donna St. Louis, and I'm co-founder of Fire Savvy. I believe that if you had the courage to become an entrepreneur, that you did that because you wanted not only to serve people in a bigger way and to change their lives, but to have freedom for yourself. I want to help you keep that freedom. And I know that the more money you have in the bank account, the more commas you have in your bank account, the more freedom you have. I'm here to help you get that freedom. That's why I help people have something amazing to sell, have an audience to sell it to, and the skills to sell it like nobody's business. Because you know what? If you can't sell, you won't make money. But anyway, going back, yes, that guidance counselor told me I wasn't going to be shit. And he made it clear I was going to be a drug addict. I was going to be in and out of jail. I was going to have 2 kids in jail. I was going to have 2 kids that died. And I was going to have 1 kid that followed in my footsteps. And that was going to be the best one, the one that followed in my footsteps. You know, it was really hard after he told me that and I was homeless, was that I was homeless because I had literally gotten in my car and started driving north to leave a situation that was emotionally killing me. Why was it emotionally killing me? Because I had just lost my 5-month-old daughter. So here it is. And on top of it, I did what every mother does that goes through this. I don't care how old she is. Every mother that loses a child blames themselves. And I was in the depths of making sure that I knew that it was my fault that my daughter had died. And so as I was homeless, I was sitting there 100% blaming myself and recognizing how right he was. Recognizing in that moment that I was actually worse than what he said. Because at least in his story, I was on government assistance and had a place to live. In my current reality, I was homeless and I already had a child that was dead. And it was my fault, which he didn't put in his story, but it was my fault based on what I was feeling, that she died. I'm not telling you this because I want you to feel sorry for me, because I don't. I trust and believe there have been many, many hours of therapy. So I do not need you to feel sorry for me. That's not why I'm telling you the story. The reason I'm telling you this story is because it was several years later that I was able to really sit down and see myself. I was a co-founder of a $250 million tech consultancy before I ever got a degree. I got my degree because I promised my kids that I would be an example for them. And I wanted to show them that if you start something, you finish. If you make a commitment, you stick with it. That's why I don't care what program I've ever been in. I've never canceled that program in the middle. I finished that program because if I make a commitment, be damned if I'm going to stick with it. And I wanted to show them that if you start something, you finish it. And I had started my degree several years earlier. After I retired, I had time to finish it, and I finished it. But I sat down and I took a look at who I was as compared to who he said I was going to be. And here's the thing. If I believed and did what they said I was supposed to do, I would have 100% be that person. I remember there was a time where there was this guy who was at this party that I was at, and he was a really big time drug dealer, and he put a gun in my face and told me that I needed to take cocaine. And I remember I was crazy as hell because I literally grabbed the barrel of the gun and I put it to my head and I said, I just want to make sure that when you blow my brains out, you don't miss, because I'm not taking a single bit of that drugs. And the reason that I wouldn't do it was because I didn't want that guidance counselor to be right. I didn't want that guidance counselor to be right that I had taken drugs. Like, I know it's like, so you would prefer to die in that moment? Yes. Absolutely. He was not going to be right about me. And so the long and short of this is, there is a statistic. I fucking hate statistics. I love them, but I hate them. Because he wasn't telling me anything other than what statistics had said. Statistics laid out a path and said, that is the path that you're going to follow because you ain't shit. Your mama wasn't shit. Your grandma wasn't shit. You ain't going to be shit. And based on statistics, your kids ain't going to be shit. Now one of my kids is in Guam working on Navy fighter jets, and the other one's getting ready to become a pilot and is an airplane mechanic. And he keeps threatening up in a plane. You don't know how my heart, I'm just terrified. But anyway, but that's what statistics tells us. And some of us hear that and it plants that seed and we fucking believe it. And then we make excuses for believing it every single time, and it kills me. It's why I became an entrepreneur, because school tells us so many times that you must conform. And I'm not against education. Please, God, don't think I am. I'm not. But it does tell us in many ways, you must conform. You must stand in line. You must dress a certain way. You must be a certain way. You must do all of this shit to be like everyone else. And then there are some of us that say, fuck that. Fuck that. And we decide, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be employable by no one except for myself. But that piece of courage is not enough. And here's why I say that. So I put this post on my Facebook page. I think it was either today or yesterday. But the average entrepreneurial female only makes $24,000 a year. So that means between that high month and that low month and that other low month and that high month and that shitty month and that regular month, when you look at the year, and after your expenses, you only made $24,000. That's it. $12 an hour if you worked a 40-hour week and you had 2 weeks off per year. That's it. That's what you made. Less than minimum wage in today's world. $12 an hour. And they put sales at the bottom of their skill set. And yet the top 1% of earners that are entrepreneurs put sales at the top 5, not 5%, the top 5 of their skill set. The top 5, most of them in the top 3. And when I talk to especially women, I'm not going to say it's just women, but especially women, they say sales makes me feel I don't give a fuck what it makes you feel like. You took the risk to become an entrepreneur. You were courageous to do it. I hated sales, by the way. Hated it. But you know what I hated more? Being a statistic. I agree with you, Rachel. It should be the number one skill set. I hated being a statistic more than I hated sales. I hated the fact that I was going to be an entrepreneur and end up on government assistance if I couldn't figure out how to sell more than I hated sales. I did not want to be a statistic. Do you? Don't you want to be the person in that top percentage and crushing it? I have 0 fucks to give about how they feel about sales. Somebody just asked, how many fucks do you have to give about how they feel about sales? None. If you look out upon my field of fucks, you will see that not only it is barren, it is salted. A fuck will never grow in the future. You really have to care more about failing than about how you feel about selling. Because here's the truth. You became an entrepreneur because you wanted to serve people. You wanted to change their lives. Doesn't that service deserve that you actually get the skill set to change their lives? Yes, exactly. Change the statistics. Change the game. Like, stop with the bullshit, quite honestly, and the excuses. Because if I believed what they said, I would be exactly what they wanted me to be. Exactly what I was supposed to be. That's what I would be. And when you become an entrepreneur and you don't sell and you don't learn to fall in love with it, because I hated it and now I'm top 5 sales coach in the country. Why is that? Why am I top 5 sales coach in the country? Because I figured out how to make it effortless, easy, so I could love it and do it and change people's lives. I can't change people's lives until they have skin in the game. That's why I'm your coach, baby. But you got to give me your name because I don't even know who this is because it's going in one of the things. Is this? I feel like this might be Teresa, but I don't know. Listen, I've already been on for longer than I wanted to. And I got on because every time I see that statistic on my own page, I get mad. I do. I get mad because I'm literally sitting here going, what's up, Renee? It meant so much to me. Like when people are in my coaching program, they automatically get sales coaching. Not even a question. But then I had so many people that were like, I would love to join your program, but I ain't making the money. And I'm like, well, how are your sales? What are you selling? Well, I don't like to sell. Okay, you don't like to sell. Okay. And so I can't say that I'm going to change the world if I don't do things for people in smaller ways. For them, like I have to be able to change their world to change their world. Right? I'm so glad, Rachel. And so one of the things that I did, and trust me, it's a big deal. I know it. Y'all be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal for us. But one of the things that we did was we actually started a sales academy, right? And if you know me, I'm like absolutely not gonna just do a sales academy. So what we did was we did the 6-figure sales superstar academy. Now, why did I do that? Because I went and looked at, because I could have gone and just partnered with somebody else. So why did I do that? Because here is the thing. What I noticed in all these other academies was it was a bunch of fucking theory. It was theory. I'm like, no, don't tell me how to do it. Put me in a situation to do it. So we made a 21-day competitive challenge in our sales academy. In other words, not only are you going to come in and you're going to learn how to sell, you're going to sell. You're going to really get in there and sell. That was our thing. And so we added that to the jam. It starts February 22nd. Don't be a statistic. There's entirely too much money out here. I'm closing. People are calling me because they're like, I actually need a coach who actually gives a damn. I'm like, hello. It's not just theory. It's time to change the game. We are probably one of the only coaching programs that has a revenue share associated with it. We are probably one of the only programs that has a Superstar Sales Academy that includes a 21-day challenge. So not only do we coach you how to do it, it includes a challenge, and we want you to triple what you invested. It's only by the way, it's only, what is the name of the coupon code? Because if you, I'm going to actually put in the coupon code. I think the coupon code is, this is when I need my co-founder. Coupon code is Superstar. So if you use a coupon code Superstar, you actually get $500 off. So it's going to say $2,500 on the thing. It's going to say $500 off. So I know you're like, she said all this for a sales pitch. It's not a fucking sales pitch. Because quite honestly, don't join. I know how to sell. I swear to God, I know how to sell. I can sell anything. So it's not a sales pitch. It is a change your life and cut the excuses pitch. I am begging for you to change your life. I am trying to find the lowest ticket possible way I can for you to change your life so you can change the lives of your clients. If you don't love sales, it's time for you to figure out a way to do it, to love it, to fall in love with it, to change your world, change the world of everyone that you know. Anyway, join. 6 weeks, starts on February 22nd. Yes, replays are available. It is hands-on because that's the only thing I know how to do is hands-on. So it is hands-on. And it is literally, you will sell during this academy because the goal is for you to change your damn life. You have to change your life. What about the opposite? When people talk you up so much that you get paralyzed by the fear of failure, baby, that is such a real thing. That's a mindset thing. A big part of what we coach is mindset, right? The fear of failure is amazing because let me tell you what it means. I'm gonna back this for you. So when I first started as a speaker, one of the things that I recognized was there were two types of speakers. There were speakers who would get on the stage and they knew they had this, right? And they were like, I got this. And they would just get up there and they would talk and they thought they did so amazing. And I'd be like, that was the most boring shit ever. And you'd always have people come up like, that was great. People are always going to tell you it was great because they don't want you to feel bad about how shitty it was. Then you had speakers that were like me. I would literally stand in the corner and they would introduce me and I would be on the verge of throwing up from the time they would say my name. They would start doing that introduction and I'd be like, oh my God. And I'd be looking at all these people in the audience and I'm like, holy shit, oh my God. That fear, that anxiety that you feel, that's you actually giving a damn. That's you actually caring. That's you actually going, you know what? I don't want to mess this up. I want you to leverage that fear. Hey, when you get to the point where when somebody slide their card, you just like, whatever. Then get out of the business because you don't care anymore and you're screwing it up for the rest of us who actually do give a shit. Get out of the business. But if you have that fear, if you're sitting there and you're like, whoo, Lord, I feel it right here. You know, they just slid the card. I feel a little like, woo. Listen, make sure you got a coach in your back pocket. For real. But leverage that fear. That's excitement. That means you care. I take one person who cares every day over all these people out here pretending that they do. I take somebody who's a little scared they're going to screw up than somebody who knows they're not going to fail. Every day. Somebody who's scared they're going to screw up, going to make sure they don't fail. Somebody who knows they're going to fail, they're going to bust their ass. I want that person. I want somebody who's just as worried about my success as I am. Listen, I've had a coach who's like, well, it's not that big of a deal. Just do this, that, and the other. I don't get shit from them. But the coach who cares, who's terrified that they're going to screw up or they're going to mess up or they're not going to give me the success that they promised, that coach, they're going that extra mile. They want me to win. They're the ones who give me the cell phone number. All of my clients have my cell phone number, all of them. All of them. Some of them have it unlimited, but other ones, they know they can call me in an emergency. But they all have it. Not a lot of people can say that about their coaches. Not a lot of people even have their coach's freaking email address. You better go through their 5 admins first. But there's a difference between wanting to collect a paycheck and wanting to create a movement. I want to change that stat. I want to change that $24,000 a year stat. It drives me crazy. But I can't change it by myself. I need you to come in and sell your ass off. Anyway, that's all I got tonight. First of all, Renee, I love you. Renee is my client. She just sold her Corks and Kegs business. Crushing it. I love you. Rachel, girl, I got you. You are absolutely amazing. And, you know, I got to get those people off GoFundMe. Yes. You called me from Mexico. I did call you from Mexico. I did call you from Mexico. Listen, if I get that call, I'm like, okay, I got to go. Got to go see what my clients need. I don't care who I'm talking to. I'm like, I got to go. Clients calling. My clients are critical. They're important because they are the people, they are the catalyst that will change that statistic. They will change that statistic. My clients make $24,000 in one sale. So that whole $24,000 a year is bullshit. And go look at that stat. Go to my page. Go to facebook.com/Donna S. Go look at that stat. It's on there in blue and yellow and white. You cannot miss it. Scroll down. You'll see it. That is bullshit. And if that doesn't piss you off and put a fire under your ass, I do not know it will. The one thing you should not want to be is a stat. Don't be a bullshit stat. You're so much better than that. Ooh, I said a rhyme. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great night.